Yeah, I was on for maybe a half an hour last night, and I was the only one on, so I was like, okay, folks, that's it, I'm done. But we got a lot going on.
Yeah, there's been, you know what, just watching, keeping track of some of this stuff. It's to me, it's actually disturbing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm no fan of Liz Cheney and stuff, but is she trying to single-handedly get them back to okay, this is reality, quit playing games?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to handle them. I mean, anybody over there, because basically what you want to tell me is all of a sudden Liz Cheney got a conscience.
I don't think so much a conscience as I'm sure she has her own end game, but it is maybe she looks at the long run and says, "Yeah, we don't need an autocracy."
Maybe, maybe. I mean, she did vote for impeachment. I know she voted for impeachment the second time.
Right.
You believe we're doing this first time, second time, and this clown still holds all this clout. I don't know how she voted the first time. Yeah, and that's what I'm curious about. Because if she was consistent, boy, that helps a whole lot. But if she wasn't consistent, I'm starting to question some of her motives.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't either. I really don't, and that's okay. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I mean, if she's consistent, then fantastic.
Yeah.
But whatever. I know that I got a letter today. You know what? Let me grab it for you because there's something I wanted to talk to you about. So let me grab it for you here, real quick. Okay, I bet that thump sounded real good, huh? That's okay. I got a letter today from the IRS. I don't know if you got one yet.
That's about the stimulus.
You will, right? And it's basically from Biden, right? So there it is, so everybody can see, right? I shouldn't show my address, but whatever. Uh, and basically, it's my fellow Americans on March 11th, 2021. I signed into law the American Rescue Plan, yada yada yada. And it goes on to a little bit of the history. In the middle paragraph, which is totally underlined, it said, I'm pleased to inform you that because of the American Rescue Plan, a direct payment of $2,800 was issued to you by paper check/debit card. If you haven't received your payment within 7 days of receiving this letter, please check the status of payment, yada, 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 yada. Okay? So it goes on and on and on and on and on. But it's a letter that is sent. Obviously, it's a mass mailing, right? Because I don't know Joe Biden from Adam. Uh, but here's my question. While Biden is sending out letters like this, the Republicans are fighting about who's Trumpy enough. How's that eventually play out?
You know what? The more I keep thinking about it, if the Democrats play their cards right in this next cycle, just with messaging, we did this for you. The Republicans sat on their asses. They voted against it. We did this. We got Americans back to work, and we got you immunized against the vaccine. We got the distribution going quick, And if the economy comes up and that plays out, but we need your help for more people in the Senate and the House to pass health care reform. And that's a big concern for a lot of people. That in itself, that message is what gained them back the House in 18.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's
It's
very
just a simple message. And in my view, you know what's going to happen in that Republican primary? The Trumpiest Trumper is going to win.
the primary. Yeah,
Right. And you know they're gonna carry over to some of those districts. But those urban districts, when they talk about child care and health care, guess what? As long as they get that vote out, I could see Democrats gaining 12, 14 back.
in the
And all
House.
we need is a couple, um, 2, 3, 4 Senate seats gained. You need a few Senate seats gained just to nullify Manchin.
Yeah, and
Then you could tell Joe Manchin, you know what? If you want to change your name to R, go ahead.
yeah, go right ahead. Manchin and what's her name? The other one, Cinema. Yeah.
She's
So basically,
borderline.
they need the net 3.
Yeah, you need a net 3. You know, in the past, I think Cinema in the past, she was somewhat progressive. I don't know where she went.
It's very possible that I don't want to say her district, but her voting block changed.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it very well could have. Very well could have.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, she kind of changed up overnight, right? And that's how it goes. But I'm looking at this, and again, let's put this in perspective. You're holding this in your hand. You're feeling it. You're reading it. This is sitting on your kitchen table, right? This is sitting on your kitchen table, or it's sitting on your dining room table, and you're looking past it to look at Tucker, right? Well, this is in your house. This is sitting right there. This is powerful. This is very powerful. It's not going to affect the base, but I don't think that's the intent. I think the intent is like you said, the suburban voters who were on the fence or just flat out didn't vote for Trump last time, or maybe kind of held their nose and voted for Trump because they were told that Biden is this, that, and the other thing. But he just put $28 in your pocket. He just sent this letter to you. He's telling you what he wants to do. I mean, it's almost like he's on a Zoom call with you, where you're looking at Tucker.
You know what's the end game on Fox News? Maybe this ties in. I'm going to be cynical like you. I already am somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, asshole Tucker probably got his shots over there. Why is he telling people 30 people a day are dying from a vaccination?
Yeah,
Do they purposely want to get the variants out there and kill their base for votes?
Yeah, that's the thing I don't get. I mean, he literally made that up. Yeah, he literally made that up, and there are people who are going to run with it. And I agree with you. I don't know what their end game is. What are they trying to eventually do? And again, you have the same disconnect, right? Are they trying to do something? Are they trying to be the people who motherfuck Biden all the time? Okay, that's fine, but you don't have any Republicans who are also doing this. You have Republicans that are fighting about who's Trumpy enough. I mean, as a party, they're a wreck. They're an absolute wreck, and it's not bothering me any because there's very few of them that I think are worth a shit. But they're a dumpster fire. I almost want to see it burn. I do, just so something else will come along that is better. Because right now, what McConnell say today? His goal is to make sure that Biden doesn't get anything passed.
Yeah, and then Manchin said, "Well, I think we can still work with him."
That piece of shit.
Seriously, would he say back in 2010? It was the same thing.
Yep.
Did you notice anything different, Joe, this time? Did you
I'm
notice they have no agenda, they have no plan, they have nothing except fear and blocking tactics?
Well, at one time that worked, right? But it only works. Your fear mongering only works whenever everybody who's doing the fear mongering is on the same page, right? Whenever you have these fear mongers who are going after, half of them are going after Liz Cheney, your message isn't getting through. You're not a united front, and you say what you want about Republicans, right? They're lemmings; they all fall in line, right? What's the old saying? Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line,
Yeah.
right? They're not following in line, and that tells you how shallow their message is because they can't get it out now.
Christ, what was then? You wonder what the hell they even up to date on who's president? Did you see that? What's her name? Elsie Stefanik or whatever that's probably taking Liz Cheney's place. She says we need a united front so we can help the president, meaning Trump.
Yeah,
Does she know who got voted in?
yeah, yeah. That says she's young too, right? I mean, she's
Yeah.
one of the yeah. And at one time, she was a traditional conservative, wasn't she?
God, who knows?
I think she was. Whenever she first broke in, I thought she was, their version of AOC.
It could have been.
You know what it is, Lou. You say something where you're kissing Trump's ass, and your donations go through the roof. Okay, your donations go through the roof. Here's where it gets, and this is where I'm telling you, all this shit is coming to a head. They gerrymandered all the districts, okay, or at least enough that they have a. Because if they didn't gerrymander these districts, none of these fuckers would ever be in Congress, right? You really think that asshole Jim Jordan would have a shot if it wasn't for a gerrymandered district? Do you really think our idiot what the
Kelly.
Kelly would have a? Did you see his district? There's no way in hell this guy ever gets elected, right? But they gerrymandered the fuck out of it. So now they have this gerrymandered district that all of a sudden they're all Trumpies. They're all Trumpies because all this shit started back whenever the Tea Party whenever Boehner was getting his ass kicked by the Tea Party. Well, the Tea Party wasn't goofy enough, so now you got all these Trumpy idiots. Well, they've gone too far because, like you touched on, what chance do they have of winning a general election now? Because they're too far over the edge. This is the every two sides, right? The yin and the yang. Now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. Who's the one Republican who's actually going all anti-Trump?
Well, you know what? I don't know what recent polling is maybe she has the idea that, you know what, maybe I'll be the last one standing in 4 years. She wants to run for president or something on that side because I stood against them for traditional conservative values.
Well, I have no doubt if they if it plays out, if she survives that long, Kinzinger. No, that's not it. What the hell is this guy's name? And it's a guy. Michael Wood. That's it, from Texas. Yeah, I looked it up. It cost him the win in Texas's special election. Okay.
He was on with Nicole last night.
Oh, was he really?
I did see half of that with him with Nicole.
I was watching the Yankees. I'm sorry. Was he like your traditional conservative?
Pretty much. And he basically said what we've talked about. What do we stand for now? Owning the libs? He says, what the hell's that? It's no policy, no direction, no nothing. He says, what the hell good's that going to get you in the country?
Wow. So now what do these clowns do? The only chance the Republican Party has, okay, and it's not going to happen. You know, it's not. It's not going to happen. But the only chance the Republican Party has is for these fuckers to come out and say, you know what? That's enough. That's enough of Trump. And they stand united, but it's never going to happen.
You know what? The Democrats handed it to them on a silver platter after the insurrection.
Yep.
Here it is. And they doubled down for Trump.
Yep. And you know what? Like I said, I honestly believe it's because of the money. Okay? Look at what's his name in the House, the asshole who's leading the charge against Cheney. McCarthy. Okay? Who shit his pants during the insurrection, right? He was shitting his pants during the insurrection. A few days later, he comes out, tells the entire world on the House, on the floor of the House, that Trump is responsible for this. And now he acts like he never said those things. Like none of it ever happened. What, are you kidding me? What, are you kidding me? What happened? Right? What happened? Oh, don't forget, after the insurrection, he did go down to Mar-a-Lago because he took pictures. What happened? Between you and McConnell, you could run this guy out of town in a New York minute. Yet neither of you are willing to do it. Why not? Why don't you want to clean up your own house?
You know, and you know, you said it way before. In political time, 2 years is a long time, let alone 4.
Mm-hmm.
They were doubling down on current sentiment at that time, and in 4 months, you've already start seeing a shift.
Yep. So you tell me, right? Why all of a sudden are you willing to kiss his ass now? He mounted an insurrection. You could have crucified this guy. You could have crucified him. And you know the best way you could have done it is you'd have told all these assholes who were getting arrested and they're losing their jobs and everything else. You know, we understand what you're doing. We'll make it better. We'll do what we can to help you. But you got to break ties. You got to knock this shit off. And then you start going after Trump. And he's done. He's done. And they were too afraid to do that. If you're too afraid to handle a cancer in your own party, what confidence do I have that you're strong enough to lead me, to lead us, to be a representative in Congress? You can't do it. You can't do it with your own. How are you going to represent me?
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. And you know what? They all know it. They all know it. You heard the latest, right? And Lou, I got a bit of a problem here. You and I both do a whole lot of math every day, right? Constantly with numbers. And I know at least CNN, and I think MSNBC as well. are going on and pushing this idea that we may not hit herd immunity because the rate at which people are getting vaccinated is dropping pretty quickly. And that had me a bit concerned, not because people aren't getting vaccinated, but I'm not so sure these folks are reading their data sets correctly. Don't forget, we spiked up a lot as far as vaccinations were concerned because, number one, there was a shortage, so people were gung-ho to get the vaccine. Right? And you sit there and just kept hitting F11 and just kept refreshing your web browser, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, F5. Just over and over and over and over again until you got it. So you had an effort there because you wanted to be to get the shot. Well, whenever you're at 75 or 80% of the older population in the country who's vaccinated now, by what means did you think that number was going to continue to go at that pace? You have the older, the most vulnerable, generally speaking, immunized. I mean, not all of them are, but what we say, 80%?
Yeah.
Right? Roughly. I mean, just for our conversation, 80 is close enough. And now you made this vaccine readily available. Okay? So people can be a little bit more laissez-faire about when they get it. Where you had people who were willing to miss work to go get it, now they're like, well, I'll get it this weekend. If not, I'll get it next weekend or whatever it is, right? How did you not expect that number to fall? I mean, it just makes sense. It would. The intensity isn't there anymore, right? And now you're opening it up to even younger people. But they're saying by next week it could be 12 and over. It's what, 16 now, right? They're saying it could drop to 12 by next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to pull your 12-year-old out of school that he just went to because he's been out for a year and a half over this damn COVID thing. You know, you're not going to make an appointment for 10:30 in the morning for your 12-year-old. What do they expect to happen? How does that number not drop?
Because we need what's the percentage?
For herd immunity?
Pennsylvania said they'd lift the mask mandate at 70%.
Right, because that's the magic number for herd immunity. We're damn close.
Yeah, because I think 64% of Pennsylvanians have at least one, if not both.
And I think we're at 56, 57 that has both.
I didn't even know if it was at 50, but it's in that range.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, you know what, maybe Wolf did the right thing. He says everybody's back on Memorial Day to regular stuff, except if we don't reach the 70%, you have to wear a mask. So maybe, to me, that's throwing out the old carrot there.
Well, two things. First of all, I think we're farther along than the government's telling us. I think our state and responsible states and our federal government, I think, are being far more conservative than it really is, right? And I think they're doing this out of abundance of caution. I'm not one of these conspiracy nuts who thinks that they're trying to. I think they're being very cautious because, let's face it, people are stupid. Okay, but yeah. I mean, Frank, you've known me for how long? How many times have I said a person is smart, people are stupid, right? People are stupid, so those in a position of authority, if they're being responsible, they're going to be very conservative in how they do things, just to make sure we're going in the right direction and we're staying in that direction. Because what happens if Wolf came out tonight at 6 o'clock news on Channel 2 and said, you know what, guys, we're open. It's all done. We did it. We're close enough. We're going to open everything up. Don't have to worry about masks. Don't have to worry about anything else. We're fine. You know, he pulls a DeSantis, right? Can you imagine? We're going to tank. So that's one extreme. He's just taking the other. And, you know, I don't blame him.
And you have people out there believing the bullshit on Facebook, Fox, Breitbart, you name it. Their church pastor that says, I mean, I saw one post that somebody had put. It says, if you have a COVID vaccine, you're not allowed in our house because of the germs that'll be coming off from the vaccine.
Really?
You know, and I'm thinking, just so much out there. Did you happen to? Oh, I had it recorded. I've been watching Jimmy Kimmel a lot, and he had Dr. Fauci on the other night.
Yeah, I saw him on YouTube today.
Did you see where
Yeah.
he says, "How about this guy, Dr. Fauci?" And he played Tucker Carlson.
Tucker, yeah.
What do you tell these people? And you know what? The way Fauci said it, it's like, you know what? This is just common sense. There was no detailed explanation except common sense. It's all it was.
Yeah.
You know, get the vaccine. You still might carry it. You don't want to give it to grandma and grandpa. Geez, you know what? I don't want to kill my parents either by carrying something.
Well, yeah, I literally asked somebody earlier this week. My other place of employment. I wasn't working there. I was just a member. I was just going in and working out. And this guy gets on a treadmill and he doesn't wear a mask. Well, the woman next to him, her father just died. Her father ended up dying of COVID. Okay, and she's younger than me. She's well into her 60s, and her father died of COVID. And so I'm talking to her. You know, she gets off the treadmill. She turns around. She looks at me. And she says, "Do you believe this?" And that's how I found out her father died. Right. So she went through this whole spiel for 10 minutes, and I left. And I'm in the hallway, and this guy comes walking out, and he looks at me and he goes, "You know, she's being a little oversensitive." And I looked at him. I said, "Dude, can I ask you a question?" He said, "What's that?" I said, "Why don't you care about other people?" And he looked at me and goes, and his exact words were, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I said, "Why don't you care about other people? You certainly don't care about anybody in that room." "Well, why the hell would you say that?" I said, "You weren't wearing a mask." "I was immunized." "Okay. I didn't ask you if you cared about yourself. I asked you, why don't you care about other people?" I said, "Are you married? Do you have kids? Are your parents still alive? Do you not care about any of these people?" He got all defensive. Like, dude, that's why you wear the mask. I said, "I'm wearing this mask not for my benefit. I'm wearing it for yours. I don't even know you." So I had to go through the whole thing of, pissing on somebody's leg. I said, "Do you understand it now?" "Oh, it's bullshit." I'm like, you know what? Be selfish. Be selfish. But one thing's going to happen. You're going to die. Except for me, because I'm immortal. Until proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise. Right? And you're going to have to stand there in front of St. Peter, and he's going to look at you, and he's going to say, because you chose not to wear a mask, 3 people died. How do you feel about that? "Oh, well, I didn't know." No, you knew what to do. You knew what to do. You chose not to. What am I supposed to do now? Right? People don't care about the consequences of their actions. They're focused on themselves. It's a damn good thing that we didn't have polio back, or the Spanish flu now, because we'd all be dead. Thank you, Fox Entertainment. Thank you, Breitbart. We'd all be dead. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Every one of us. We'd all be dead. "Oh, it's my right." Your right to what? Your right to what? What right? What right? What right are you talking about? Your right to what? To be an asshole? Of course you have a right to be an asshole. What does it have to do with my health? Whatever. What's it have to do with your parents' health? Speaking of assholes, let's talk about one Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. Who signed the measure to put restrictions on mail-in balloting and the use of drop boxes, only allowed Fox Entertainment in the building whenever he was signing it.
Yep, and everybody else had to stand outside.
Uh-huh. What do you think of that?
No, he's a good little suck up to Rupert Murdoch. That bastard needs to die. Hate to say that, but
So that's exactly what he did. He decided, I'm only going to let Fox Entertainment in. Okay. However, within minutes of the bill signing, this is coming from CNN, an Alliance of Voting Rights and Civil Rights group announced they had filed a lawsuit in federal court in Tallahassee to block the new law. Shortly after that, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund filed a similar lawsuit on behalf of the Florida NAACP, Disability Rights Florida, and Common Cause. The League of Women Voters of Florida, along with Black Voters Matter Fund, the Florida Alliance of Retired Americans, and a handful of other voters all filed lawsuits to contend this newly enacted legislation. I hope they didn't cut and paste, right? I hope each one, had their own separate thing, because one of these things is going to stick, right? One of them is going to stick. The most secure election in the history of this country. And now they're pulling this shit. Is this their last stand?
not if they can get more gerrymandering and some other crooked stuff through.
Well,
More voter suppression, more gerrymandering. Maybe it can extend it, and I think their only option right now is dictatorship when you think about it. Maybe they see that line in the sand that's coming up.
Georgia scared the hell out of all of them. That asshole in Florida, this asshole this asshole in Florida, the other asshole in Texas. Georgia scared the shit out of all these folks. Right? Georgia go for Biden too? Was it a Democratic sweep?
Yeah.
So both special elections and the presidential election all went to Democrats in Georgia.
In Georgia.
This scared the fuck out of all of them. Every one of them scared the fuck out of them. Right? You think any of these things get overturned?
I guess it depends what judge it goes to. And then does it get appealed all the way up?
Well, if it gets appealed all the way up, I guess whose side who that they're working under would depend on who's appealing it last, right? This would be the other side. So this is, well, we're halfway through the year. So you figure the midterms start basically what, at the end of the summer?
Well, there'll be people campaigning and announcing.
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna all, um, uh, getting themselves in position and doing all the, jockeying for position here. What, by the end of the summer, they start
Yeah,
pushing things.
I need to hit the Powerball so I could back Frank through dark money to go against Kelly.
Yeah, you know what? I do too. You know what? I'm such an asshole. I'm not even so sure I wouldn't even make it dark money. You know, I'd almost be willing to do it, just waving and smiling. Say, yep, it's me. Of course, don't let people know that I have that much money. I told you what I wanted to do, right? Is hit the lottery, then move next door.
And move next door.
Just to watch all the assholes go to the wrong house. That's a lot of money. That is a whole lot of money. So is the GOP going to have that vote about Cheney?
I believe they are. I'm trying to think of when it might be coming up. It might be pretty quick, actually.
What's the
Says,
earliest would be next week, I would think.
see, Trump proves his hold over GOP again as House leaders prepare to purge Liz Cheney. The action has alarmed authoritarian experts who point to parallels in the old Soviet Union as well as Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. It's the whole atmosphere is one of loyalty to leader and party and none to principle or policy.
Lou, how the
Elise
fuck?
Stefanik. I was looking for a date. And did you see what that asshole, speaking of assholes, Tom Cotton tweeted out? He doesn't even know the definition. He said it was Orwellian that Facebook banned Trump another 6 months. I said, fuck, he don't even know what Orwellian means.
Has no clue. He was definitely going for a catchphrase. He was definitely trying for a catchphrase. Definitely. It's Aurelian. Speaking of Aurelian.
Oh.
How are you, sir?
Hey guys. Good, and how are you?
Couldn't be any better.
And it would be in a previous secret vote. They had a secret vote last time, and she beat it by about 90. So I don't know when this vote might be.
You think they swung 90 people?
Well, they'd only have to swing 46, right?
I would have figured they would have to swing more. Because she beat it by, well, okay, I see what you're saying. Which is the halfway number, right?
Yeah.
Because it's an up or down vote, right?
Right, up or down.
Yeah. So how many, Master Grant, how many Republicans are in the House? I don't mean in your house. I mean in the. Not as many as there are in mine.
How many in your neighborhood?
Oh shit! The rest. How many houses do you see? Right, take one out.
212, right?
There's 212 total, isn't there?
Wait. There's no 435.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's 212
for majority, and Republicans have 212.
Okay, so 67.
Well, the last vote was, I think, 145 to, what's the balance of that?
What was it? 212 minus what?
145.
67.
67. So you need 34 if everything else stays the same.
Yeah. So they have to move 30. You know what? Even 34 is a high number, though. Master Gray, you think there's going to be 34 people, 34 more people voting to strip Liz Cheney? That's 34 more.
I think it really depends on the ex-president's push. Right now, we know he's been quiet. Haven't heard him. So, I mean, he could be working backdoor channels right now for all we know. And I think that if he's there and he's pushing, I think we could. But if he's not, then no, I don't think they get it.
Do we know, Lou, if this is a secret vote again?
No, I couldn't see anything on that article.
Because I'm telling you, if it's a secret vote, they don't get it. They don't get it.
No, they won't.
But if you got to be held accountable, they might get the 34. They might get the extra 34.
Yeah.
Right? Because now they got to go against all this other shit. I don't know. Lou, I don't know. This is asking a whole lot. You know? This is asking a whole lot. On both sides. On both sides. It's asking a whole lot. I'm not so sure they do it. I'll be honest. I'm not so sure they do it.
It's really tough. Really tough. Like I said, I think that if Trump is in the background, we might be surprised.
You think?
Yeah. He's been so quiet. Have you heard anything about him? Any noise at all?
Well, I know he decided that he's going to he's going to back whoever the hell's running against Cheney. So that's a shot across the bow. I know it's still asking a whole lot.
Mm.
I'm not so sure I'm believing all the left wing hype on this one. That it's going to happen. I'll be honest. I'm not so sure.
Really, a tough call.
Yeah, let's see. Let's vote against Liz Cheney, but leave Matt Gaetz with everything still in committee and judicial, and not say a word to that asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of assholes, Twitter. I'm sorry, not Twitter. Facebook. This asshole board that they came up with. Yeah, honest to God, Facebook's a cesspool. You know that? From top to bottom, from the people using it to the people running it, it's a cesspool. They decided this board that they came up with to review these decisions that Facebook makes, decided to continue this ban for 6 months.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a permanent ban. How the hell, and this is what I got to know, how the hell do you look at a person who was the sitting president of the United States, who generated an insurrection against his own government? How do you sit there and say, 6 months is good enough?
Yeah, nobody's got a backbone.
How the hell do you do that? What planet are you living on where you're sitting there and you're going, you know what? Another 6 months and that's it. You're going to say he learned his lesson? Well, we already went down that road. It didn't work. Why? Must have hit a nerve, Lou. Must have hit a nerve. Master, if you know it's you're that sensitive to, we'll skip. We'll
That's I
we'll
can't.
pick another
This
subject.
is too much. Too heated. What was it called? Rage quitting. I'm rage quitting this. That was I think that was Dick Cheney monitoring my feed here.
Might be.
So
Might have been.
I don't know. Lou, did you want to answer first or?
No.
Master Grant, it's all yours.
So I think it's coming down to a couple things. One, we have to remember that Facebook is a company, right? They're making money, and they need to keep making money. And I think that they've taken a hit because there's a lot of people who just left. I mean, I'm one of them. I don't even use it. I don't even look at it. You've left, Master Patsy.
A long time ago. Yeah.
I mean, Lou, you're. I don't know if you're on it or not, but
I left right after Patsy, I think.
Yeah, and so
yeah, I don't know which one of us was first.
And then my daughter my daughter left about a week after me. She's had enough of this bullshit.
Yeah, so
we deleted it all. Downloaded a file on my file onto the computer, which was a little eye opening too.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, that'll tell you a whole lot that you don't want to know.
Yeah, when I downloaded that file, then I found out how the Trump campaign got my number, my email, and everything else.
It was all right there. Was all right there for you.
Yeah.
Here's one for you about Facebook. The Republicans keep crying they're censoring us. You know who has probably 9 of the top 10 posts on Facebook politically? Republicans.
Yeah.
They did a study.
Ben Shapiro and the like, all the mass clowns.
Yeah. It's so funny because they did a study, and the conservative points of view far outweigh the liberal on the Facebook and the Twitter feeds. Yet you get the Hannitys going, oh, they're censoring us. Oh, we can't get our point across. Oh, look, it's like, yeah, it's a complete opposite. But when we look at Facebook, we got to look at it as a business because that's what it is, right? It's not a free public thing that's being done out of the graciousness of their hearts.
Right.
It's a business. And as well as I do, that they've got highly paid marketers and highly paid business analysts who see the impact that the continuing, they were going, I believe, on a downward slope to begin with. And then when they lost Trump, who was one of their biggest advertising revenue generators, this hurts financially. It hurts them in the pockets. And so what that means is they can't go out there and retrofit their new yacht. They can't go out there and buy that big, huge, 10 acres on the lakefront property. They can't go out. So this hits them in their wallets. And they are seriously, I know, I would wager money that if you were in that meeting, that's what's coming up is that is the financial impact. And that's probably what caused them to make this let's wait and see, trying to figure out a way, because they're not going to answer this right or wrong. It's all ends up back down with the big.
Well, here's the question I have. They booted them off of the platform how long ago?
January.
A year ago?
Off of Facebook.
Yeah.
It was before Twitter, wasn't it?
I think it was after.
I want to say it was after as well.
So January.
This year?
Yeah.
That was it?
It was after the insurrection.
That's when they booted him off of Facebook.
And yeah, they booted him off of Twitter.
Oh, they booted him off.
He was still tweeting during the insurrection. He was tweeting.
January 7th, he was banned.
Well, January 7th. Wow.
Yeah.
So your memory's far better than mine.
Well, no, Google told me that.
Well, no, Master Grant was saying it. You just
Oh,
confirmed.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you just confirmed it. So it's been 6 months, and this panel's saying do it another 6 months. So basically, what they're saying, what they're telling Facebook is, well, you can survive a year, right? If it's a financial thing, they're telling them they can survive a year.
And they're also looking at the upcoming elections, right, next year.
Or if they're telling them they can survive a year, isn't Facebook just going to become a little bit more efficient and not have to worry about it? You know,
You would think.
we didn't hire anybody back. You know, we're back up and running. I'm sitting there on you know I got almost I got my overtime back. We're starting to crank up like we've never. We're down. Everything's starting coming back around. We haven't hired anybody new.
Well, so there's, I think, okay. So let's look at Facebook, because this is a, technology. You remember when MySpace was the end all to be all, right?
Actually, yes, I do. Yeah.
We remember when America Online used to be the end all to be all. Now Verizon can't even give America Online away. So technology has cycles, and Facebook, I'm sorry, is in the death throes. It's going down, and I don't believe it'll ever recover. It's going to become a MySpace. Something is going to replace it. Maybe it's Discord. Who knows? Maybe it's out there. We don't even know it. Maybe it's Trump's social media site. Lord knows. I mean, but I believe that Facebook is going down, and they're going to go out, and they're going to fade away, just like MySpace did. Right? Not completely out of existence, but just enough that nobody's going to care about it.
No longer relevant.
Yeah.
Actually, if you follow the cycles, Facebook outlasted just about everybody.
Yeah, they have. They've done a good job, but they're going down, they're going out, they're going away. And so, this oversight committee, they know these things, right? And so they're saying, look, we got to milk this. We got to get it out now. Get the money out now that we can. And I think that's they don't care about right or wrong. That's what they're in for. So,
well, that much is certain.
It's my opinion.
You know what? It's a great point, Lou. That they've never cared about right and wrong, right? And I've always said that the only way Facebook and Twitter are worth a shit is if you're angry. That's the only way it's worth a shit. If you're not angry, you're not nearly as engaged in any of these platforms.
Nope, you're. I think maybe I'm going to go with the My Pillow guy and Frank. Master Grant just needs to help him out with algorithms because he keeps crashing.
Yeah. The fact is that the Facebook platform outlived every other social media platform, because Twitter was after Facebook.
Yeah, when did Facebook start?
Twitter was Facebook before. And then everybody thought Twitter was doomed because of Facebook, but then Trump came. And I think Trump literally saved Twitter. Everybody wanted to see what Trump was saying, so they jumped back on Twitter, and he saved them. But yeah, that's yeah. He really, you know what? The Twitter was always working on a loss, right? They were always on the downside of it. I don't remember them turning a profit. Obviously they have investors and they may be making money now. I honestly don't know, but they lasted in the red far longer than any company really should have. Far longer than anyone should have. I would love to see what Facebook's users numbers are from, I don't know, 2 years ago to now, and see how far it's dropped. Right.
Or actually, I would actually like to see the curve from the 2020 election, from the election cycle then to like now. And I bet there was a flat line, it spiked, and now it dropped below that flat before. Well, I shouldn't say flat line, I should say baseline. Right, baseline spiked and then dropped below the baseline is my guess. It's what's
Well,
happening.
apparently they're still growing. Their earnings are still growing.
Yeah, but earnings is not a direct reflection of active users, though.
Right.
You know, and that's what I'd be curious about, because all that means is Zuckerberg figured out to be very efficient in his advertising. Right. That's all that meant. If I can get $2 out of 5 people or 10 people this year, and next year I can get $2 out of 5 people, I'm still happy with or $3 out of 5 people. I'm happy with the 50% loss of users. I'm not thrilled about it because it shows a bad trend, but I'm still in the plus. In fact, I did better.
So, it's CNBC and others are saying that they've reported decline in active users for both quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2020, and so their revenue is strong, but their active user base is shrinking, and that's kind of what we're
saying. Right, that's what we're saying. Yeah, that shouldn't surprise you.
Yeah.
So their active user base is dropping. The kids don't want to be on it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you now, the only reason you see people my son's generation on that platform is because they're interacting with grandma and grandpa. Seriously.
Did you get my friend request?
Right. Right. And that's it. Because grandma and grandpa are on it, so they can use the messenger or whatnot. Because it's on a screen; it's not on their phone where they can't see what they're doing. Right? I mean, I know it sounds like I'm being a smart ass, but I'm serious. Yeah, it's on a nice big screen or on their tablet or whatever it is, so they can see it. It's very easy for them to interact with, and so the kids are on it because that's how they interact with the older part of their family, with their cousins or whatever. They're basically using Snapchat.
WhatsApp, Instagram. Although Instagram's going the way of Facebook, it's got way too many ads, and people are just starting to.
Yeah, people are starting to pull away from that too.
Pull away from it.
Yeah, Snap seems to be the way to go. Snap and Discord is big. I mean, we're all on Discord. We have our own channel on that.
Slack
is a good one. Slack's more business though, isn't it?
It's more business, yeah.
Yeah. Microsoft is doing big with Teams. That thing's growing like crazy.
Microsoft.
It is.
I'm just glad they're retiring Skype. I mean,
thank God.
For God's sakes, Skype would not work with any Apple product.
No.
I don't know what it was, but it was just like if you tried to log into Skype on a Mac, Microsoft was just like, F you.
Frank and I would get it to work on iOS. Right, we would get it to work on iOS, but it was spotty. But yeah, on Mac OS, forget it.
I got to the point where I would tell people, if you're going to do a Skype meeting, I'm going to call in. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not even going to try.
That's all you could do.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah,
because you download all this bull crap to your system and it never works. So it's like, change it, use something else, or I'm calling in.
Yeah, Mac OS did not either. It didn't like Mac. I'm willing to bet that Mac OS didn't like it. Didn't like Skype.
That could be that way too.
Well, Mac OS is real restrictive, right? And that's not Microsoft's forte.
No. Yeah. No. Microsoft is probably like, you have to incorporate Active Directory. You have to do it. You have.
We're only using Silverlight, right?
Just update your algorithms. Come on, Apple. What's wrong with you guys? Now, see, my chip is starting to go off.
Oh, see that?
I'm talking about this stuff, and now they're starting to ping me. Sorry, Lou.
Lou,
Did you see the cartoon I sent on Discord yesterday with Bill Gates
yeah,
and the
I was
microchips and the 6 single girls?
I was actually gonna pop that up on the put Master
I
Grant.
should have put at Master Grant on it.
Master Grant, wait till you see this. This is a good one.
Oh gosh, yes.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't see it, but
I just did.
there you go.
Oh, that is really good. I like that one a lot. I'm gonna probably have to share that and get in trouble, but I
I thought that was absolutely hysterical when I saw
yeah,
that.
that's one you can't post at work. You just get in too much trouble as much as you want to.
As much as you want to. I know. I know. So you had Prince Charles dying, right? That was it. It was Prince Charles. Who was the
Prince Edward.
Edward?
Edward.
Okay, well, Edward. I got Prince right. Give me a break. Right. So Edward dies. Well, there it is. Yep, there it is. Edward dies, and Bill Gates is divorcing his wife now.
Oh.
Wonder how big of a coincidence that is.
Oh. The Queen.
The Queen is single, dude.
The Queen.
Queen's single.
So it hasn't been the mandatory 6 weeks, right? She has to be a widow for what, 6 weeks before she can date?
Well, that's fine. You know, figuring it's going to take them a good month to iron out this divorce, from which Microsoft insiders that I know are saying they didn't have a prenup, so it's going to take them a while to iron that out. And, you know, next thing you know, we're a colony again.
I think if that were to happen, I don't know. I don't know if I can control myself. I just might lose it. You know, I might. It's just like if you're ever thinking about, can you fart, sneeze, and cough at the same time without having an accident? This is why, see, Lou, this is why I just bring the show right down to the gutter. I mean,
well, and if you're over 60, could you trust a fart doing all three at the same time?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure it's just coincidence. But hey,
ain't she like 95 though?
Yeah.
But she's still hot.
Dude.
She's Bill Gates.
It's Bill Gates.
She's Bill Gates, and she's the queen. I mean,
that crown's sexier than hell.
Yes, that's right.
That takes a good 10 pounds off.
Okay, I gotta stop. You're gonna need to go down the road here. I gotta stop.
Hey, yeah, I'm just pointing things out. That's all I'm doing, right? I'm just pointing it out. I wonder how many people are now I want to say how many people have been arrested with the insurrection, and the reason I asked that is because according to Politico, okay, we're getting back to Facebook. Trump submitted to Facebook's oversight board. While Trump did, the American Center for Law and Justice submitted on Trump's behalf a statement where Trump said the quote is, his supporters on January 6th were, quote, law-abiding during the Capitol riot, arguing that nothing he said on January 6th could reasonably be interpreted as a threat to public safety. And they still said 6 months. Master Grant, you're right. It's about money.
Yeah, there's no way you can look at the things that happened and what he said, and what occurred, and know, yeah, it's something more powerful.
I want to know why they accepted this statement. This is about a platform. It has nothing to do with Trump. This is about the behavior of a platform. He just happened to be the person that the behavior was affecting. They could have had the same behavior on affecting any one of us. I don't get why he was even able to submit a statement, or somebody was able to do it on his behalf, which makes it even worse. Right?
Well, he's the ex-president, of course. So
this is a private entity, though.
Right, but he's the ex-president, and any publicity is good publicity. So this, gets Facebook out there, and I'm sure the marketers are like, yeah, let show it, do it,
Trump's statement further argues that the terms "fight" and "fighting" used during his rally speech that day were, quote, were linked to a call for lawful political and civil or civic engagement, concluding those words were neither intended nor would be believed by any reasonable observer or listener to be a call for violent insurrection or lawlessness. Right? Okay. The oversight board's Eli Sugarman, the board's content director, said Trump's statement, quote, is replete with falsehoods. Ultimately, they came up on the 6 month ban. The board appeared to agree with Trump on at least one point, that Facebook's decision to suspend Trump indefinitely was overly vague and requires a clear set of policy justifications. Well, that's going to be tough to do in hindsight now, right? Because now the argument is, well, you changed the rules now. That's a tough one. Lou, you're in the dark.
Well, that's typical.
It's symbolic. Lou, what do you think? What are they going to do in 6 months?
Let's see, 6 months. It's be what, beginning in November?
Mm-hmm.
I say they let him back on.
Yeah. Master Grant, you think so too?
Because they'll need a boost. Their numbers are going to keep going downhill with Biden doesn't rile people up like Barack did.
No, I'll be honest. Biden's handling this like a champ. But Master Grant, what do you think?
Well, I still think it's going to be a financial decision.
I agree.
So, however they're situated, that's the decision that's going to be made.
Yeah, they're going to need the numbers boost by then. Their numbers are going to keep going downhill till then.
Yeah.
Especially over the summer.
I think so. Kevin McCarthy is reportedly, where this is coming from Turning Point Memo, is reportedly worried about at least one thing in particular: if Congress successfully put together a bipartisan commission to study the Capitol insurrection on January 6th. And that is being forced to share under oath his allegedly explosive communications with then President Donald Trump on that day. He does not want to testify at all. CNN is reporting that McCarthy is Very concerned that the commission will call on him to testify on his call with Trump, in which the GOP leader pleaded for the president to call off his mob of supporters. I'm going to put some money, because I do like to gamble, that this is why he's willing to throw Cheney under the bus. Because as long as he has that political clout, he's not going to get any Republicans to be part of this bipartisan committee. What do you think, Lou?
Well, you had 10 Republicans that did vote to impeach. Or can he keep them off? Or that's up to Nancy, because she can say, Kinzinger, we want you on the committee. Liz, we want you on that committee.
Well, that's a good question now, isn't it? Now, Liz is out. That's one less quote-unquote legitimate Republican he has to worry about putting on that committee.
But can she put him on? Put her on. Can Pelosi herself say, we don't care what Kevin says, you're on it?
I don't think so. I don't think Pelosi can do anything with somebody from another party. I don't think she has any control over that. That would go between her. She would pick hers. McCarthy would pick his. Thing is, he almost needs the number 3, because you figure, what's his name? Who's the whip? Clyburn?
Jordan, isn't he?
I can't remember. You got to figure the whip is going to be on that committee. So the Democrat number 2 is going to be there. Probably the number 3 too. Right? So you're going to want to match that from the Republicans. How's that committee going to look if Cheney, who's still the number 3, isn't on that committee? Right? That's bad optics, dude. Master Grant, what do you think?
I'm just sick of this partisan loyalty bullshit. That you're a Republican, you're going to vote no all the damn time, and no one's even going to think for themselves. That's what makes me absolutely furious. Mm-hmm. We look at if you go to Wikipedia and read Donald Trump and read about the insurrection and read about the day, right? And if you go through step by step, you'll get to the part where the Congress impeached him, and you'll go, yeah, rightly so. And then the Senate, the Republican-held Senate, acquitted him. It's disgusting,
and it happens.
Absolutely disgusting. That these Republicans line up and they just sit. And Democrats are the same damn way, but they'll just not as bad. But they'll just, okay, I'm a Republican. Mitch McConnell, tell me how to vote. I'm here. I'm a Republican. Tell me how to vote, and then they follow without even thinking. It's the, you know what? I get rid of them all. Get rid of them all and start new. Sorry. It happened. The question. Just got to round it.
It happened twice. He was impeached twice. So this happened twice. So one time was bad enough. It happened twice now.
Yeah. And what is this with, I'm a Republican, I'm going to say no. That's it. No negotiation. No talking about it. No meeting in the middle. It's all gone.
It's all gone. All gone.
We don't even have a government now.
No. No. We have 2 parties forcing an agenda. That's it. That's all we have. Well, I can tell you what my agenda is. That's to put this puppy to bed for the night. What do you think? That was pretty good, wasn't it? That was pretty good.
Stick a fork in it.
I thought that was pretty good. It wasn't one of my bad. I mean, it's nowhere near Master Grant's level, but I mean, come on.
I'm sorry. I got all worked up.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it interesting.
I need to start wearing the hat again. When I wear the hat,
the hammers. Well, we wear the hammers. Well, I'll wear it tomorrow because we're supposed to have what's her name in the chat room with us tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. To get that hat out.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope she's not watching. I'm gonna feel bad. I can't remember her name. You know you know who I mean, the British one.
Yeah, simply British or something.
Yeah, the Liverpool fan. Sorry, poor thing. Master Grant. You know, between her and Lou, you know, I feel so, I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken.
Wonder if I could get Amazon to deliver me a Liverpool shirt by tomorrow.
I'm sure they could.
Oh God. You know what? You should just print something out, put it on your wall. All right, you already did that to me once.
Yeah, I did. I put it right behind me, so when you and Frank come on when they won last year, you were like,
Oh God. He did too. And he just sat there and smiled like, what's going on?
put it right behind my shoulder to make sure they could both see it.
That was priceless.
I told you, as soon as she got on, I changed my background to, Old Trafford. Because, hey, it's United. Okay, folks, we're gonna call it quits for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody watching, especially on Twitch and YouTube. We will be back tomorrow to finish up the week. Same bad time, same bad channel. So for myself, Master Grant, and Lou, until tomorrow, goodbye, good luck, and God bless. We'll see everybody tomorrow.